Downey are the commissioners.
Sandy Flores, and Delphi Council.
Brad Farr, County Council. Jordan Willis, Town of Camden.
Don Chuckley, County Superior.
Laura Mills, Carroll County Area Plan.
Cameron Yates, Executive Director.
Cindy Harmon, legal counsel.
Okay. Approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Any objections or corrections? If you guys can remember that part.
It's been a while.
There you go.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the February 28th meeting.
Do I have a second? All those in favor of approving the minutes from the last meeting, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, moving on, we got a rezone from MGH Holdings LLC on the agenda. Cameron, would you please give us a background on this?
Area Plan received an application from Neil Herr, MGH Holdings LLC to rezone the property from U1 Urban to B1 General Business on April 27th, 2023. The rezone was advertised in the Carroll County Comment on May 3rd. The sign was posted on the property and letters were mailed to the adjoining property. I believe Mr. Herr is present this evening. Yep. So he is here to petition the board for the rezone.
Okay. Neil, would you come forward, if you would, present your name, and then what the scope of the rezone request is?
Neil Herr, we surveyed off a little over 10.5 acres, located basically, well, there's the new parcel number right there. We've had interest, just commercial businesses wanting to come into Delphi. A few of them we don't want. One, of course, Delphi's a dire need of car wash. I didn't get contacted by somebody wanting to put one in there. Might be a fit.
We can't hear you. Can't hear anything back here.
10.5 acres right there. Looking at just rezoning that commercial. There's businesses that want to come into Delphi. That's what we're working on.
A car wash, is that what you said?
There's one person talking about a car wash that wants to come in and makes sense. Put it next to basically where the water tower is.
Okay, board, do you have any questions for Neil? This is where the old barns are, right?
Yeah, the old barns.
The old barns,
Correct.
next to the lift station for the water tower and everything?
Yep.
The new lift station. Okay, any questions from the board, comments from the board?
Now, I noticed there's just a little bit in that top right corner that looks like it's a wooded area. Neil, that's not in any kind of a special,
No, there's no, we did topo and everything. There's no concerns about wetland or anything.
Okay. Nothing from the board?
So this would be a recommendation to, since it's a rezone to the
City council.
Delphi City Council.
Okay. Now we need to open up for public comments.
Correct.
6:05, we'll open up for public comments. We're gonna start on the first row. If you come to the microphone, announce your name, state simple facts, not a long-winded narrative, please, and we'll go from there. First row, please.
My name is John McFadden, and I live directly across from that field. And I don't think we should be making decisions about what we want there until we know what's gonna go in there. A car wash is not enough sufficient evidence. I hate to see you put businesses in there that's gonna slap the businesses in the face downtown. They're barely surviving. It's ridiculous to think of another business area till you can build your downtown back up. Also, the policing. What's gonna be done about policing? We don't have county police on the road, well, we do right now. Most of the winter, we didn't have county police on the road at night, because we didn't have any. You people don't pay them. So what are you gonna do about policing this area where there's a car wash and businesses? We need to know the answers to all these questions before any decisions are made.
First round, anybody else? Yes?
Karen McFadden, we live on 200 Moore. So I guess my question is, will the access for this business be from 200 or will it be from the highway? Can anybody answer?
Everything right now looks like it's coming off 421. No business would want to come off a country road.
Okay, because that is kind of a difficult area anyway to get off of 200 onto 421. So I don't know where the access would be, like, are we considering a stoplight there, or, does anybody know that?
Just the landowner.
Okay, so does anybody know that? Because if there's more traffic coming out of that car wash, if it's 421 where I'm thinking on the other side of where the house used to be, that's really close to the intersection of 200 and 421. So, I mean, you have school traffic there, you have all of the traffic going to the heartland. I would just wonder if there's consideration, like, if you're gonna do that, you know, like, can stoplight go in there, or what has to be decided?
There's a lot of things that the city and the landowner can do with the state of Indiana. When you got a school right there and you have businesses that do come in there in the city, they can actually work together to put a stoplight in there. There's a lot of options that are available to the developers for traffic flow and whatnot. And I know that the city would work very, very well with the developers and would work very well with the state of Indiana to put something in there to direct the flow of traffic.
Okay, so, I mean, would there be a guarantee that that traffic wouldn't be coming on to 200 North? Like, would it be guaranteed that the access to that property would be from the highway and not from a county road? Like,
That's not within our scope. That's not within our range. We just work on zoning.
okay,
What the parcel he just showed, there's no access on that parcel to get onto the highway, or onto 200 there.
The
It's all-
commercial zoning request doesn't even touch it. I mean, that's pretty simple.
Yeah. And this is mainly to attract businesses. The reason why we do a rezoning is to attract businesses, because businesses will not look at potentially developing here unless it's zoned properly. We've had this in the past. The board knows this. We've had this for a lot of different things. This is just educational for the public, but we've had this in the past where we've had to rezone something to the formal zoning that a developer would like to see in that area.
it'll just be that one part that's rezoned to business. The other
Yes.
part is, the other part of that property is residential, is that?
Yeah, most of it is. Some of it's still going back.
All right, that's the question.
And I would like to address the concern about the policing. As on the council person on the city council, that is something that we are working on right now, is hiring for more policing. So I can see that would be an issue.
If it wasn't gonna be a problem, why wouldn't it run all winter?
We're not here to discuss policing in the
Yeah,
city
you're
business.
talking about city, I think you're talking
Oh,
about.
you're talking about city?
Yeah.
I'm talking
That's-
about county.
it's
We're
city,
moving on,
right?
we're not gonna talk about city business, we're moving on to the task at hand, and that's for the zoning. Next person on the front row?
Well, so my only concerns are, we own property running along there, I don't really have a concern with this property. But I don't understand why we're rezoning.
What's your name, sir?
Michael Hicks. I live on Riley Meadows Drive. But why are we rezoning these properties when we already have sitting warehouses and stuff out on the north end of town? There's no businesses going in out there. You have all those old businesses sitting out there. So why would we wanna rezone places for urban, from rural, or from urban to business? You already have a business zone that's sitting empty. So, but I don't have a problem with this parcel here as long as we don't go further down. We go further down, then we're moving.
Anybody else?
Everett Snowbird, Camden, Indiana. Just a quick question. Is this rezoning as B1 or B2? You said commercial, but commercial's not a choice for the city.
He said B1.
B1 general business.
B1 general, thank you.
From you one. Next, second row. Anybody in the second row?
So Anita Whirling, Mayor, City of Delphi. And of course, the MGH Holdings has the entire 270 acres now, plus this 10-acre tract. It makes perfect sense to have split off this parcel and to rezone it for commercial. It sits on 421, which is where the traffic counts would be highest for those seeking business. You know, in the concept plans that were originally drawn up, this is what those concept plans showed, that this area in particular would be ideal for a commercial type of rating or zoning. So I don't see any reason not to approve this.
Third row. Anybody from the third row wanna make a comment? Nobody? Fourth row? Back row? Anybody wanna make a comment, public comment?
They should speak up so we can hear back here, because we can't hear those talking people. And most of it we haven't heard.
Anybody else wanna make a comment? I'm gonna close public comments at 6:13.
I have a question. Are you guys going to make a decision on this in the near future? Or how will we know what your decision will be? I mean, should a decision be made before we know what kind of businesses are going in this commercial part?
This is strictly rezoning, just to attract businesses, because
Yeah,
they
you
want.
keep saying businesses. You already talked about one.
I don't know what the businesses are, this is strictly a
Maybe someone on the
rezoning.
council should find out. You're not very well informed.
This will go to this board will make a recommendation only, and then it'll be passed on to the Delphi City Council for final approval.
And we'll have one of these meetings with the Delphi City
That is
Council.
correct, so tonight's is only a
Wonderful.
recommendation to the city council.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any discussion amongst the board? This pretty much falls within what we've done in the past with rezoning to attract businesses, so I don't see anything that would change it, so. Okay, I'll entertain a motion from the board. Now, this is gonna be a recommendation to the city council.
I make a motion for recommendation to the city council to change the zoning to
Favorable or unfavorable?
the
Favorable recommendation. Sadie has made a motion to make a favorable recommendation to rezone from U1 to B1 to the Delphi City Council. Do I have a second? John seconds. All those in favor of the motion on the table, say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Moving on, we have the council on rezone, right?
Yes, so the,
City
second,
report?
second item was tabled to the June meeting. You pass that to Brad, please.
Wendy? You're,
Okay.
right?
Since, we haven't met since February, I'll just bring you up to date on the, township stats, for the end of, this is for the end of April, so to date, we've had a couple come in the month of May, so we've had 18 new dwellings, total permits this year, 67, of course, that's went up since May 1st, so we're probably pushing, I'd say close to 100 at this point. Site visits in April, 19, compliance certificates, 9, new addresses, 3. It seems like since we haven't met for a couple months, everything was slow at the start of the year and it just took off. So here we are and the office has been nonstop. So Gloria, as always, does a great job in there answering calls and, a lot of work is starting to progress. People are starting to get out and build again, which is good. Other than that, let's see, I graduated from the leadership in Carroll County on May 10th. And got some trainings coming up for floodplain, which is annual trainings. I think one of them's down in Evansville this year, so. Other than that, again, the office has been very busy, and Gloria's doing a great job keeping up with I think it's a phone call every 2 or 3 months, so kudos to her. Cindy's been there for answers and we're moving along, keeping progress going, so.
How much of that floodplain do you have to get?
What's that?
How much of the floodplain training do you still have to do?
You're supposed to, they send you out a monthly training that we do through the state, and FEMA sends them out every 2 or 3 months, but you're supposed to go to an actual training seminar at least 2 or 3 times a year. So they have an annual conference that they want all floodplain administrators to go to, so that one is in September. So that's the one where it nails down the trainings, the new laws that come in, which Cindy sends the new legislation to me, which a couple things that have changed is, they're gonna start requiring any new floodplain administrators to have at least the course that I did back in 2018. It's a minimum required to even be higher. So I don't know if that'll pass this year, it'll probably get shoved to 2024, or 2025. And a couple other small changes, but, you know, FEMA's tightening down their belts with the NFIP, and it seems like every week we're getting something. Now, what will get passed, what won't get passed, we'll know at the end of the year, but it's just stuff that we have to keep up on, make sure that it's with our ordinance and keep chugging along, so. That's what we learn at these conferences and these trainings that get sent to me, and then John he sends me some additional training, so. Plenty of online training. Other than that, we're doing pretty good. It's been a busy 5 months.
Okay, good. Anything for Cameron? Cindy?
Yeah, so what I've been working on lately is going through the ordinances and checking codes. I've not found a lot, some of the bigger things that we're gonna have to fix, we can, fix ourselves. It's with the bylaws of the APC and the BCA. There's some old codes that are in that, so we'll work on that. But the other thing that I've kind of switched to now is, putting together ideas for new ordinance language for, solar, solar. It's on our doorstep. I mean, it's here, but it's just now in the,
So you're working on language right now?
I'm working on language. I know Cameron has sent you guys copies of different counties' language. So I really could use any feedback you have on any of them that you like. Now, White Counties is good. White Counties is a little bit old. It needs to be updated a little bit. Last year, for the 2022 legislature, they passed language for minimum requirements on solar and the wind, the larger wind projects also. So theirs can need to be updated some, but Cameron and I really like Jasper County's language. It's got a little bit more meat to it. It's probably got more than we need, but I think it's got some really good foundation on that. So I'm trying to work with those two ordinances and try to craft something that would work for us. So if you have any input on that, I would really appreciate it. And I hope to have some type of a draft ready for the next meeting.
I've actually had a company that stopped in the office,
Yeah.
so that's how close it is. I went over and visited White County last Tuesday, just took a quick peek at it, and it's right next door, so that's why I keep shoving these emails out to Clinton County. Yeah, there's a big one going in Clinton County,
I drove by it, it's huge.
so it's here, and it's good that we're prepared for when it shows up as a farm.
Yeah.
So we get a lot of, I'd say every week we get at least 2 or 3 for individual dwellings, the solar panels, which we make them submit all the stuff through the co-op or whoever they're grabbing electricity from the grid from. Make sure they have some kind of agreement, make sure they can handle what they're taking from the house and some things that we added to it. So that's coverage for us as a county. So that's a step that we did 2 years ago because we started getting, from 1 a week to 5 a week, and now we're getting them. They have these incentives, the government has incentives to get them. It seems like every week now we're getting several. So that's one part of it, that's the dwelling part. The part that we're focusing on now is the farm, which is in 2 counties, right beside it, so, yeah, it's commercial. So if you have input, please get it to me, I'll get it to Cindy, and we can knock this out. Because it's not just this board, it's gotta go through a couple other processes once we get past the approving of the language and all that, so if I could get that knocked out as quick as we could. Did you guys get all the counties that I sent? I know I sent a lot of them, but they're all different, a lot of them have a lot to it. That's counties that's a little bit busier for commercial, but Jasper County was the one that I really liked, so.
Okay. Anything else, Cindy?
That's it?
Anybody got anything for Cindy? Anything else from the board? Motion to adjourn? Kevin seconds. Jordan. Kevin second. All those in favor of adjourning? Aye.
You're adjourned.